I hope you all are geared up for this exam, correct? So just say a quick hi if you are watching me on YouTube or if you are watching me on the Gradeup app so that I know that you guys are there. Prakriti says hi. Hello everybody, welcome again. Now 6 days to go, right? About 6 days to go. And I'm sure a lot of anxiety, right? It's one of the most important tests you would take for your MBA entrance. And especially if your CAT did not go your way, then probably you are a little extra tensed. थोड़ी ज़्यादा tension, correct? Which is normal. Optimal tension keeps you on the track, so you do better, you perform better, right? So if you are uh, totally into it, committed, you are trying to uh, make sure that you perform very well in this paper, I have a couple of quick points to cover and then that would be it. Though there are a few more sessions lined up for your benefit in the coming days. I would talk about it at the end of the session, but I would keep it very short to the point. We will only discuss things that are going to be useful and we would avoid unnecessary gyan, right? Now, I have written this paper a number of times, so I have the advantage of experience. You might have taken this paper already once, but then very clearly going through a couple of points quickly is going to be very beneficial. Now, Manjusha, good evening. Abhishek, Mohapatra, good evening. I hope you guys have been preparing really hard, correct? And if you are listening to me on, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can post your chat there. I would try to read as well. Okay. Now, let me quickly take you through this entire points or pointers about what we can do in the coming days, because let me tell you, doing a lot of things would be counterproductive towards the last 6 days. You know that, right? If you try to cram too much, ज़्यादा करने की कोशिश करेंगे, it won't really work. So what should we do is the point. So before I move on, let me quickly tell you, very important announcement. At Gradeup, we would bring the basic expected cutoff and overall difficulty of the XAT paper on 3rd January within 15 minutes of the paper getting over, right? So the paper gets over at 12:30. We would be live at 12:45 with the expected cutoff and the overall difficulty. And at Gradeup, we have been doing it repeatedly. We are one of the very few who come up with the most authentic expected cutoffs within a few minutes of the paper getting over. So don't forget to join and watch the analysis at 12:45. So the basic cutoff and difficulty would be live by 12:45. So don't miss that on 3rd January after your paper. Now, I'll quickly take you through a couple of pointers in terms of what you still can do, what can still make or break your chances. Let me tell you guys that this paper is one where even 2 marks can sway your percentile by a huge margin, right? Or this is a paper where doing 70% of the paper with about 80% accuracy can help you convert your call big time, right? It's not a paper where the cutoffs go very high or the scores are like, reaching in hundreds. The game is over at 40, 41, 42. So you have to be very careful. You can still do a lot that can make a difference in the last 6-7 days, right? So what can you do? What you can't do? Let's be quick and let's be through with it. So please remember, in verbal areas, there are certain areas where knowledge is important, right? For example, vocab-based questions, antonym, synonym, fill in the blanks, analogies, and figures of speech based questions. These require knowledge. In last 6 to 7 days, I do not recommend that you go through your vocab list. Not advisable. Srikanth, good evening, welcome. It's not advisable. Why? For the simple reason that if you have not done it so far, let it be, right? Vocab nahi hota, last 6 days chhod do, correct? So Anurag Mohanty, hello, Tanya Kumar, Tanya, GK would not be part of the overall percentile. That's one. Second, GK would be considered by XAT for the final merit list. So let's put it like this. In GK, I'll give you some idea. In GK, 70% score typically gets you 199.99. XAT does not come up with 100 percentile. So typically gets you 99.999 percentile, right? About 70% score in GK. So you get the idea. For getting a decent score in GK, I think half the available score would be good, more than sufficient. And you can't do much in the last 1 week. So just forget about that. Okay. So vocab shouldn't be your focus area. However, from experience, I'll tell you, you guys should go through the very basics of figures of speech. So what's a metaphor? What's a simile? What's personification? What's onomatopoeia? What's synecdoche? Just go through the basic ones. Why? Because you sometimes can get direct questions on that. So primarily knowledge-based areas should be avoided as much as you can. Correct? Hello everybody. I may not be able to say hello to everyone. बहुत सारे लोग hello बोल रहे, but you're most welcome. Ashwari and Shivam and everybody else, right? Pooja, Yashika. So you're very welcome here. I hope you guys are all ready, all set to go and give it your best, right? That's all you can do. So avoid vocab. Second area where knowledge is important is grammar, right? However, my suggestion is that do revise these areas. Don't avoid these areas completely. Don't do that. Why? Because there are not too many rules. You can just give them a quick read and you can still probably manage to get a couple of questions right. Grammar has not been very big in XAT in last couple of years. So you can still manage, especially if you can do nothing else, then do try to go through this area. Just go through subject verb agreement from any source, right? And it can help you at this juncture, 6 days before the paper. So don't try to do too much, right? So Anurag is asking question. Yes, Anurag, if you look at the previous year trends in the decision making questions, the length of the stories have come down. That's a good thing, but we can't predict anything obviously, but they have come down. So I don't think they are going to be very long, but bharosa nahi hai. We can't be very sure, right? So vocab avoid in the last 6 days. Grammar, if you can do nothing else, then at least go through subject verb agreement, correct? However, there are some areas which are practice based where you can still keep on practicing, and they are RCs, critical reasoning, and English usage based questions. For example, parajumble, parasummary, paracompletion. Parajumble and parasummary have been very regular in XAT. Paracompletion on and off, and CR, you know, like CR direct questions aate hain, and it's also part of RC. So my suggestion is that especially in CR, if you did not have enough time या ज़्यादा नहीं कर पाए हो, please revise the basic concepts of what's a conclusion, what is an inference, right? Or how to strengthen or weaken an argument, how to find assumptions, right? Or how to find how to solve a paradoxical situation question, right? How to find parallel logic. Just do the very basic stuff from a basic book. Just revise the concepts. एक बार देख लो, so that in the exam you do not have confusion. कि assumption, what exactly is assumption? I have no idea. Right? You already know the rules of parajumbles, parasummary, paracompletion. Revise them once and maybe solve a couple of questions. That's it. Because these are practice based. So knowledge based avoid. Practice based focus more, because that is where the scores are likely to be and you can maximize your scores, right? So try to focus on that as much as you can. Ashwari Kumar, if you have not done anything for GK so far, please remember GK is one area which will not be added to your overall score. Okay, it would be relevant probably only for XLRI. And if you have not done much about it, then just forget it at this juncture. 6 days before the paper, I cannot ask you to go through a lot of GK material. होएगा ही नहीं, आपसे हो नहीं पाएगा, right? So probably avoiding it would be a better idea. You rather focus on the other 4 key areas, right? So RC, CR, your quant, LDI, and your decision making. Correct. Now, Tanay Kumar, if you are worried about which RC to pick up, always remember when you look at an RC, this is how you decide. Okay, I'll quickly give you a matrix. If you want to find out how to choose an RC quickly, then remember that any RC, I'm not very happy with the diagram I have made, but kaam chalana padega. You can look at the language very quickly, maybe 1 or 2 lines or a couple of lines from paragraphs. And you can also have a quick look at the type of questions. Okay. For example, if questions are saying find assumption, find inference, find strengthen, weaken, or it is saying which of the following is likely to follow, not likely to follow. If the questions are direct, let's call them easy. And if the questions are indirect, call them difficult. If you can understand the language, let's call it easy. If you cannot understand the language much, call it difficult. If you find an RC where language is very difficult and questions are indirect, then don't do that RC, avoid it. If you think the language is doable and the question types are all direct, vocab based, true, false, title, tone, then that should be your first choice. Tanay, do you understand? But between a choice of language difficult, questions easy, or questions easy, language difficult, students make a lot of mistakes. Do not choose an RC on the basis of language. Always choose an RC on the basis of questions. If you think a lot of direct questions are given, have a quick look at it, choose that RC. That's probably going to be better or easier to solve than an RC where language is easy but questions are all indirect. Okay, and if both are not understandable, language is difficult, question bhi samajh nahi aa rahe, avoid it. Right? Try doing this as much as you can. Shivani, we do not know honestly. So we know the number of questions, but we do not know the number of cases. And let's not go with a preconceived notion. You might get 21 different questions. You might get 7 passages with 3 questions of DM each. Kuch bhi ho sakta hai. Okay. So, vocab, avoid, grammar, revise, subject verb agreement, and practice as many RCs as you can and revise the concepts of critical reasoning. Okay. So, let me put it down again. Please revise basic concepts of CR. Revise the basic rules of grammar, especially subject verb agreement. Revise the basic figures of speech. You might get questions on this, everyone. So, एक बार revise करके जाना इसे. Okay, revision list. Secondly, even now in the last 6 days, you can try to reduce the inaccuracies of RC. ये बहुत होता है. Right? Ranjana, you can actually. In XAT in the last couple of years, the number of RCs have been pretty static, right? So from English usage questions, you can do. But my suggestion is do not leave RCs because RCs may look tough, but usually questions are easy. You would be able to eliminate. And how do you eliminate? Just try to look for the differences between choices. Eliminate as much as you can. Okay? Don't get intimidated by the language. In XAT paper, a lot of students get intimidated by the language. डर लग जाता है. मेरे से नहीं होगा. I can't do it. That's exactly what they want. They want to scare you. Don't get scared. Go through the paper wisely. You would get enough easy questions. And all you need is half the marks available, right? For an Excel recall. आधा marks चाहिए of the available max marks. Correct? So try to reduce inaccuracies. Right now you might notice that a lot of you do not get probably more than 50-60% accuracy in RC. Try to reduce that. Read the question more carefully. Pay extra attention to the first few words of every option. Okay, so if the option says explain, describes, argues, these are different words. So pay attention to these tiny differences. And in English usage questions like parajumble, parasummary, try to eliminate because that does not give you type in the answer kind of questions. So you would have good luck there. You can eliminate. बहुत मजा आएगा. Correct? So my unique video kingdom, you of course have my best wishes. There is no doubt about it, right? Tushar, if you do not have high accuracy, my suggestion is go for only those questions where you are sure. Okay? And think, why would you not choose the option which you are eliminating? On what basis? Try doing that. अभी भी 6 दिन है, कर सकते हैं, right? So read the first few words of every option in RC very carefully. When you are doing CR questions, try to summarize the argument. Half the students ये नहीं करते. Try to summarize the argument. What is the author saying in one line? You'll be able to eliminate better, right? Moving on. Very important. Please do not take more than 3 full-length mocks in the last week. A lot of students take 1 full mock every day. Do not take more than 3 mocks, which means in the next 4 days take 3 mocks, but last 2 days avoid full-length mock test if possible. We need high, remember, we need high morale towards the end of the paper, towards the end of the preparation days. We cannot take a full-length test which makes us demotivated, because that will impact your scores for sure. Soldiers cannot fight a war if they are demoralized, right? You know that. Josh chahiye. How is the Josh? Something like that. Correct? Very important. Vipul, if you want a layman cutoff, what I will tell you is that in QA DILR and DM and VARC, I would suggest to target 12, 14 to 15, 12. And this should give you an auxiliary call, believe me. And you all can do 14 to 15 DM questions for sure. You all can do. If you don't panic, if you choose wisely, you all can do. Right? And in DILR, let me tell you, I'm a verbal faculty, but I write this paper every year. And obviously, I'm not too good at a QA DILR. But every single year I manage to reach near the cutoff, or sometimes I crack it. What does it mean? And I don't prepare the entire year like you guys have, right? You are way smarter in doing this section at least, QA DILR. And it is doable. हो जाता है. I only look for questions I can manage. प्यार से, धीरे धीरे. And I usually get about sometimes 80, 81, 82 sort of percentile. मिल जाता है. Sometimes, of course, I don't crack it. It is doable, right? So please do not go with this mindset that last day I will take a full length mock. No, you need Josh. You don't need unnecessary number of mocks towards the end. Very, very important. Correct? Yes, I agree, Vipul. 12 in quant is a bit tough. I agree. But I am giving you a little higher range of questions because I do not know the difficulty level. You understand? I just give you a basic idea. Obviously, it can go haywire. For example, the paper may be very tough and it can come down. Paper can become very easy and it can go up. You understand, right? So, I just give you a basic idea. A very basic idea. Correct? My unique video kingdom time management, please remember, technically we have 55 minutes for each section, right? But my suggestion is that whatever is your strongest area, give it a little more time and push up your overall score there, right? And try to get just the required cutoff in the weakest area. That's something very, very important you have to do. Okay? But I'll come to that in a while. Let me tell you this very important point, everyone. This is very important. Okay? I have seen Tejas Patil, yes, you can do that. Right? Kajal, okay. If there is theta, then very clearly you don't attempt it unless you are sure about it. Right? Abhishek, no, it's not. Yes. Right, Vijay? I hope your question was answered. GK is not considered in the overall scoring. It's not. Now, one more thing. Let me quickly tell you. A lot of students tell me this, sir, my friend told me to do this topic because it's going to come. It's very important. They told me. And I'm weak. They told me coordinate geometry is very important. Karke ja. They said probability is one area. How can you leave that area? That's very important. Karke ja, but my probability is very weak. What do I do? Please remember, if it's weak and you have 1 week left for it, please leave it, forget it. It's a bad dream. It's over. Bhul jao. Please do not try to learn anything in the last 1 week. Even if somebody says, I have talked to the XAT examination board and they have confirmed the topic aane wala hai. Forget it. You can't do it. You cannot learn a topic in the last 1 week to such an extent that you can do these questions, right? तो आप इस बात को भूल जाओ. कुछ नया नहीं करना है. No matter who tells you, right? At the same time, I leave it to you, of course. Suppose you say, okay, I would like to revise. I have no problem. But I would like to learn. I have problems. Correct? People, definitely, you have to maximize your scores in your strongest area. Correct? Maximize. Push up your scores in the strongest area. Just try to get as many correct as possible in the weakest area. Minimize your mistake in the weakest area. Try to push up your scores in the strongest area. Because in the weakest areas, we tend to make the maximum mistakes. Because we're not sure, so we keep on taking chances. Right? Avoid doing that. That's very important. Shivangi says unattempted questions have negative marking. Yes, but how does it really matter? Even if you leave the number of questions, a lot of questions, the resultant loss is so tiny, it does not matter. So don't worry about that. That unattempted questions would be penalized. That score is so tiny, just forget it. Correct? Tanay, I cannot comment on that. We, as a matter of fact, never suggest you to guess. So if a topper suggested, I don't know. It may have worked for that person, correct? What if the other thing happens? Now remember, there is a difference between wild guess, okay, and informed choice. Now, we do suggest informed choice. If I have 5 choices and I have removed 3 of them, and I think that ideally the answer should be first, and I would go for it, I have a chance of getting it right, 50%, correct? It's fine, that's informed choice. Wild guesses, Jai Mata Di guesses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have no idea what is the correct answer. Let me mark second. That's Jai Mata Di. That's wild guess. Don't do that. Informed choices are okay. You know that, right? Informed choices are fine. So Abhishek, that's exactly what we are discussing. Swapnil, if it scares you, forget about it now. Focus on getting a good percentile overall. How do you do that? Get as much as you can in decision making. Get as much as you can in the VARC. जो बहुत कमजोर है, भूल जाओ उसे. Don't worry too much about it. Go through it slowly. See if there is one question you can do here and there, and that can create a lot of difference. You are not going to give up the fight for sure. Correct? So Tanay, if you have narrowed it down, then of course you can go for it. Always remember that is one exam where if you maximize your scores, okay, in your strong areas, and get a decent score in the weaker section, about 10 marks. So it's like, 8 to 12, kuch bhi. Weaker section. Let's say quant is your weaker section. Anything between 8 to 12 can easily get you a very, very good percentile. Right? Sometimes even 6 or 7 can, depending on the paper. So get 14, 15 in DM, probably 14 to 15 in VRs if you can manage, and get about 7 marks in quant, and you can still probably get an auxiliary call. It is doable, right? So you're not going to give up the fight. That's all I'm saying repeatedly. You still can manage even if you have a weak section. Correct? कर सकते हैं, आराम से हो सकता है. So that's what I'm saying. Okay? Now, Abhishek, कुछ ना कुछ तो डराएगा ही. Abhishek is scared by RC. Now remember, decision making itself is an RC, right? You have to read so much. करना तो पड़ेगा, right? You cannot really stop yourself from doing it at the last week. You have to do it somehow or other, correct? We have got to go into a good college, no? Vipul, no. All the papers would be too much. I just told you, full length mocks, if you're taking, then don't take more than 3 in the next 4 days. And last 2 days, avoid full length mocks. Sectionals are okay. Revising is okay. Right? So overall, all the papers you can't take in next 3 to 4 days. You just can't. Honestly. Right? Now moving on. Always remember, if you want to crack this paper, this is the key, everybody. This is the key. Don't goof up here. Make sure you eliminate options. If you have done the course that I taught, we have done this widely. We have done this extensively. And I have shown that decision making section is full of easy questions every single year. If you do it wisely, you can easily get 14 to 15 questions. And I'm not talking about the quant based or the calculation based TM. वो मैं छोड़ दे रहा हूँ. उसके बावजूद you can probably score 14 to 15 marks. It's pretty doable, right? And it can give you a top call. So make sure you don't screw it up. If you think the first case is difficult, no problem, move to the second one. A second is difficult, no problem. In that it happens. You would get 4 cases back to back, all difficult. And you might feel, oh, this paper is difficult. They are playing with your mind. There are enough easy cases. I have shown in the course that I taught that they give you a lot of data which has no use in the questions. So you see a lot of data, the company's profits are going up, the losses are going up, and they're talking about the debts that the company has. They have given you data based on years. Have a quick look at the question. You might discover that the question does not require the data to be interpreted. कोई relation ही नहीं है दोनों में. सब चाल है उनकी. You understand? So do your decision making as strongly as you can. This can make or break your chances. Very important. Correct? Vipul, it was a paid course, so I think you have to go to the app. Vipul, you have to download the app and you find out. Anurag, make sure you get at least 10. Anurag Mohanty, if that is the case, then you analyze what is going wrong with your mocks. For example, are you using the methods we discussed, or are you thinking from some other angle? That has to be seen. Probably, right? B. Sudarshan, I can't really say that, but over the years, I think 12 to 14 is what you should target. Don't target only cutoff in DM. DM is a scoring area, right? You can manage. Okay. So, Gyan from experience. XAT is not a paper where you would not get time. XAT gives you enough time. You can't complain. So please don't panic. Even if you come across some questions which are difficult, this is going to happen probably with some of you. In English, you would be like, oh my god, first is a grammar I can't do. Second is a vocab I can't do. Third is parajumble, nahi ho raha. Fourth RC is so difficult. Don't panic. Other questions can be very easy. Take a deep breath, scan. Till the last question is over, your game is still there. You are there in the game. Right? I managed to do that with quant section in XAT and CAT every single year. I am not a CAT or quant person, but I manage decent percentile, looking for questions here and there. Right? Manageable. Can do. Please remember, if you can manage 70% of the question with 80% accuracy, you would be a topper. And that would help you convert your call. Convert your call. Call तो आ ही जाएगी, convert भी हो सकता है easily. So it's not a paper where you have to be in panic. घबराओ मत, बहुत टाइम है, आराम से करो. Correct? I have seen students every single year. I have seen students who simply stop solving the paper. They simply freeze. नहीं करना है. Don't freeze. If it's tough for you, it's tough for everybody. Cutoff is going to go down. Why are you worried? आराम से करो. And when you're doing the paper, please let not your mind interfere. Students start thinking in terms of what happened previously. Cat बिगड़ गया था. What will my parents say? What will my friends think? Right? It's my second attempt. What will the world think? The world doesn't care about you. Don't worry about it, right? You should care about yourself. That's very important. Don't carry baggage to the center that day. Okay, go with a fresh mind that you are equipped to handle this paper. आराम से हो जाएगा. क्या problem है? Just get 40 marks out of 78, right? You can easily manage. Tushar, if it's weak, there is no good attempt. Do as many as you can, Tushar. Okay. अगर पेपर में आपका सेक्शन वीक है तुषार, देन डोंट गो विद दैट माइंडसेट कि मैं इतना करके आऊंगा. डू वट एवर यू कैन, बट येस 8+ is what you should target if possible. Correct? Vatsal, at this juncture don't take more than 3 mocks, full length mocks. अब इस last week में इससे ज़्यादा नहीं. You understand? Always remember, at this juncture you have to revise, not learn anything new. Relax and go with the mindset that if you can manage the DM section VARC properly and quant में अगर wicket बच गया, you are good. You're good to go. You can get auxiliary BM or HR calls, and that's what we are looking for actually. Correct? It's pretty doable. You guys have prepared hard, you have worked hard, and you are ready for it. Don't carry any baggage. That's all I can say. Correct? Tanisha, no, Tanish, no, I don't indulge in guesses. Now, very quickly, everybody, there are some sessions still lined up, so probably just keep an eye open on YouTube. You might get boost your scores in 5 days, decision making boost your scores in 5 days kind of sessions might still be there. So please watch them, data interpretation or arithmetic or XAT QA. So a lot of sessions are lined up. You can download the app Gradeup and watch on it free, right? So we are there to help you there. And we have started our GDPI batch already, and very clearly once CAT results are out, there would be a rush. So you can join the batches as well. And more importantly, the payment plan has changed now. So you have payment plans, like, you can pay it in 3 installments, 4 installments. So that's also there, right? I just thought to inform you. Okay, so please give your best. There would be more sessions. We can interact again. But meanwhile, please remember, at this juncture, don't try to do too much. Try to do as much as you can. Revise your strongest areas. Focus on the strongest areas. Maximize the score from there. And just try to get enough to get the required percentile cutoff in the weakest area. That's it. Do not go for shortcut at this juncture, and you would do very well. Nobody can stop you. Correct? My unique video kingdom, I do not know. Ami Janina. Okay. Anurag Mohanty, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. When you say good words, it really makes our day and the remaining part of the night, right? Thank you so much, everybody. So give your best, guys. You definitely have it and you can do it. I'll tell you from experience, it's doable, right? Just don't let anybody mess up with your head in the last 1 week. Okay, give your best. I'll see you again, everybody. All right, thanks for joining me. And those of you watching me on the app, you of course will get notifications. And if you don't have the app, you're watching me on YouTube, please download the app. I'll see you again, everybody. Thanks a lot. Thank you, and all the very best.